Gonna find my baby, gonna hold her tight, gonna grab some afternoon delight.
My motto's always been, when it's right, while waiting till the middle of a cold, dark night. When everything's a little brighter in the light of day. And you know the night is always gonna be there anyway. Anyways.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Greg Vollmer.
Afternoon delight. Oh, afternoon delight. Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Afternoon delight. Whoop. You guys have it, I think.
Another movie reference. Amazing. All right.
My brain's 90% movie references and 10% just emptiness. Just empty void.
I think it's the opposite.
Rotting.
You're 90% empty.
90% emptiness, 5% movie quotes, and 5% just deteriorating gray matter.
Welcome back to another edition of The House that Alan Built. I'm Scott Kinmartin. With me, as always,
Greg Vollmer.
And today, here in episode 16, we're going to talk about the Buffalo Bills playing at home against the Vikings and how that game went. The game of the year! Again, we are on the short end of the stick.
Another back-to-back years where the Bills are involved in the game of the year, where all the other fans of the other 31 teams are like, oh, did you see that game of the year? And you're like, off.
I was at it.
I just want to say right off the bat, for anyone that's been watching the podcast and they're thinking we blow too much smoke up Josh Allen's ass or we're too much of homers, well, you're in for a treat on this one because I'm definitely going to get some off my chest about this game against the Vikings and the last 2 weeks that the entire Bills Mafia has experienced, as we're all trying to just regurgitate the chaos we've absorbed over the last 14 plus days. But before we get into the negativity, my man Scott took his family to Buffalo for the first time, so I want you to tell everyone about your experience.
Well, we did a lot. We left here on Tuesday in Portland, went back to Buffalo, landed there at midnight on Tuesday, so going into Wednesday, and it was nonstop after that. I took them to my hometown on Wednesday. They got to see cows up close, dairy cows. Chelsea was like, I never realized how big they are. We literally had fresh milk. Went right through the hose, I
thought you were going to say you took him to see the buffaloes up close right away.
Actually, there are buffalo there. There are American bisons there. But they were out in the elk field, and they're up over the hill. So we didn't get to see them. And I never made it back out there after that first day because we went to Niagara Falls on Thursday. We did Cave of the Winds. We got to see the waterfalls while it was cold, but not as cold as it is right now. Then we did...
What did they think of the Niagara Falls and the Maid of the Mist?
I mean, it's one of the 7 wonders of the world. Now, Maid of the Mist is closed November 6th for the season because of the freezing temperatures coming up. Makes sense. Yeah. So Cave of the Winds, we got to go down as they're breaking down all of the wood docks and stuff that get you to the lowest point, the viewing point. I think the lowest point was at the Bills game. So we went to the Sabres game that night. We went straight from Niagara Falls back to Cheek the Vegas, and then from there we went right downtown, went to the Sabres game.
Jack Eichel's return, part 2.
He got a hat trick. I mean, the last one was an empty netter. Wasn't as close. I think we ended up losing like 6-4 or something. They got some Ted's hot dogs.
It wasn't a good weekend for Buffalo sports, but you got to take your family to Buffalo.
It was great and
see sports games for the first time together. What was the atmosphere like before, things started to unravel in the third period at the
Sabres game?
At the Sabres Knights game, yeah.
It was good. The crowd was great. Every time Jack Eichel got the puck, literally if the puck was sliding his way, boo!
Oh, yeah. I was watching the broadcast on TV and I could hear it a little bit.
And our 7-year-old was like, what are they saying? Jack, you suck? And I'm like, that's exactly what they're saying. He used to play for the Sabres, and he badmouthed Buffalo, didn't want to play there anymore. Now, it's obviously a little more detailed than that with the whole surgery on the neck and all that.
And he had the right, like the whole surgery thing, I think, was overblown.
It was messed up.
I'm on his side with the surgery thing, to be honest. I think they should have just let him do what he wanted to do. But
he wasn't a true leader there. He's
here nor there.
He's a great athlete, but he was not what Buffalo needed. I mean, come on. He's from Massachusetts anyway. We don't need that.
No, that is true, man. He's a chowder-eating son of a...
We went back home. They got to see the family.
Got to stay with your mom. You stayed with your aunt.
We stayed with my aunt and uncle right in Cheektowaga. And then my mom came out like 3 different times. We got to go out and have some dinner with her and my brothers. Then we went to the Bills game on Sunday, which we were supposed to leave Sunday morning. And I said in the last episode that we may extend our stay. We did. So a guy I went to Canisius College with, Michael Cacho, he actually just so happened to have 3 exact seats available. So Sabre didn't count as a seat. And the 4 of us crammed into the extra seats. But he gave me face value deal. It was awesome. Because everywhere else was ridiculous. He heard that I was going to pay about $1,000 just to get like corner end zone seats where your buddy was. And he was like, "Nah, dude, I got you covered." 3 of us couldn't make it. They've got 2.5 rows covered in the 310 section. So we went.
He's short. That's it. It's over. It's over.
The lady behind us was like, "You have the most adorable family. Give me your phone. I want to take some photos for you." So we got some photos. I'll share them here. At the Bills game, we got hot chocolate. We got some pizza. We at the Sabres game, we got the hot dogs. We got pizza logs. I got jerseys for them. I mean, spent a couple $100 on that stuff. And
when in Buffalo, my friend.
Yes.
When in Buffalo.
At the Bills game, I christened my son, holding him up like Simba and showing him around. He had a big old smile on his face as
he's officially a part of Bills Mafia.
Eating goldfish. Yep. That game, I'll tell you, it went back and forth. But we were up by 17, and comfortably, I was thinking of him going, yes, my prediction's going to be, it's going to be right. I think I said 35-27. You said 27-21. Both of us picked the Bills. You picked the under. I picked the over. Clearly, it was the over. It was 63 total points, and the over-under was 46.5.
Neither of us called overtime.
We did not call overtime. We did not. But it should have never gotten there. 4th and 18 for Minnesota. And Kirk Cousins from his own 30 throws a bomb. Cam Lewis jumps up. University of Buffalo product. He probably wanted to be the hero with the interception. Had it, but Justin Jefferson one hand yanks it from him for the first down. That's going to go with that was the go-ahead score.
You know what? He'll never do it again. For as long as he plays in this league, he will never forget that moment, and he will never, I would hope, would never do it again.
I felt bad. Clearly, he wasn't trying to sabotage anything.
Hell no. You're a player that's not fully experienced. You haven't seen all the situations like Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. They've seen, it's kind of like the Tom Brady's of quarterbacks. They're like the Tom Brady's of safeties. They've seen almost any kind of thing you can throw at them. They've been in almost any situation.
Imagine about having 2. They have a tandem.
And even with Hyde and Poyer, they can still mess it up. Like the Arizona Cardinals Hail Mary, and then how they learned from that. And then the Colts game, was it Poyer that just knocked it down, or was it Hyde? It was Poyer in the Colts wild card game.
I think that was Hyde.
And anyway, so it's like, look, they've seen almost everything. That's how you learn, because stuff like that, you'll never forget it. And clearly, I'm sure he was like, I'm sure that he was in the film room after that game, and he's like, yeah, of course I should have just tried to knock it out of his hands as opposed to try to clench it.
You know, I for the most part cannot blame the defense, because other than that 181-yard run from Delvin Cook, they held him to 38 yards.
But that's 38 it though. Yards. But it's the whole
bend don't break, and then you break.
The whole argument of our run defense would have looked real good if it wasn't for that 70-yard run, 81-yard run that they
But he's Delvin Cook. He's going to hit those home runs, and if James Cook has any of that in his bloodline, we should be running it more and giving him opportunity. Singletary was averaging 4.3 yards per carry. Right?
All right, real quick, you've opened Pandora's box. Yeah, talk about the food.
So we went to the Erie Basin Marina. We saw Lake Erie, the 360-degree view. We ended up doing my old Canisius College stomping grounds. We stopped by the dorm rooms that I was at. We actually stood right out in front of the Palisano Pavilion, which is where I watched the Tuck rule come into effect. That was the Raiders.
The Raiders!
The Raiders should have taken that game. After that, we ended up driving around. We stopped at Charlie the Butcher's, and we got beef on whack, and we went to the Buffalo Museum of Science. I took the family to the Mayer Brothers Cider Mill, and we got some apple cider slushies. And actually, that's where I got this sucker right here for you.
Boom! Look at this thing.
And
this thing it's warm, it's comfy, it's legit.
It's red, white, and blue American.
It's 100% bison fur right here.
When we went for wings, It was one of the last things we did. I took them to the Anchor Bar the day before we left. We just got in. We literally pulled up. He helped me unload the bags, and he's like, dude, you want to talk about this game? He's been fiending to let this off his chest, and I get it. So I said, all right, let me go get a memory card. We'll put on my shirt that I got at the Anchor Bar right here, Frank and Teresa's Anchor Bar. That's the home of the original Buffalo wing.
Look at that cool shirt.
And I got one
You
for
got
you.
one for me.
He's got a matching one. So one of these days, me and my sweetheart are going to wear it. Have you ever heard of Wegmans?
Yeah.
Okay, so Wegmans is like the local grocery store there. What I remembered as a kid was all the gravity bins of candy, right? They've kind of condensed that down, but they had a bunch of cool Bill stuff. And I got some of the Bison chip dip. Loved that. Missed it. Got some Ruffles and just dipped in there and ate a whole bag myself. Other than that, honestly, a lot of it was just seeing family and sulking because while I was in town, we could have gone to 3 different Sabres games. They lost all 3. They're on a 7-game losing streak. They're 7-10 now. Buffalo is in the rut.
What did we do to deserve this?
I don't know.
Man.
So the Bills
Come
were
on.
favored by 6.5 points against the Vikings. When we did our episode 15, they were up. There was like 9.5, maybe even 11.5.
What-
Just kept dropping.
What's crazy, though, is that the week leading up to this Bills-Vikings game, to me, personally, it felt like the longest week of the season so far. The week, the whole...
Because of Allen's injury.
Yes. Between the injury and then talking about the Jets game and, you know, what's going on with the Bills, because that was already starting to kind of come up under the surface, like before even this game, like with the media and all that. My God, I just want Sunday to come. And it just felt like the whole week, it felt like a month to get to the game.
Well, you had Allen running away from media on that first day,
Not
that he
knowing
got
if he
limited
was gonna
practice on
play.
Thursday. Yeah, it was a weird week because I wasn't joking when I said get ready for Case Keenum, and then at the Sabres game, I'm filming on my way out, going down the escalator, and one guy said, "Yeah, go Bills! Case Keenum, woo!" Like it was trending in that direction. We didn't even know what was going on. That was Thursday night too.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I was watching some fantasy football news with the dude that does the Stardom or Sid'em, Matthew Berry.
Oh yeah.
He was the woman that
the blonde.
Yeah, she's kind of like middle aged. She was talking about it, and she goes, "We should have she pretty much." I'm paraphrasing, but she was like, "We should have known that Allen was going to play when he threw that 70-yard pass, and he didn't seem to be in too much discomfort." Like she ultimately just said like that. I think that was like the proof in the pudding as to like. Even though like they drug it out and the whole coaches giving very little about what was going on or being as like short answered as possible, it made the suspense just build for fans and it was miserable. But like she said it best after the fact where she's like, we should have just all known that when he threw that 70-yard bomb to Gabe Davis at the end of the Jets game that he was going to be able to make it.
You want to know how you keep the lead and you milk the clock? Running the ball. 2 carries. We had 2 rushes in the last 24 plays on offense.
Nah, Devin Singletary sucks. Like everyone's saying the running game sucks. We had to make a trade at the deadline because of course Motor like we've got a running back. Why does he even have a nickname? Because I mean he's not that great.
He's in the garage.
Is the whole point of having a running back to be like maybe you get 10 carries a game? Maybe 10 to 12 and then let's cut it off.
No,
right?
Here's the thing. The Bills were playing down to the Vikings when they're up by 17. They were playing like they were losing in the second half. And the Vikings always play the same game of who they're playing against, right? So if you were to compare the 2 teams, it was Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs versus Justin Jefferson and hardly Adam Thielen. And then it was Delvin Cook versus Singletary. Singletary still had 13 carries. Cook had 14. You remove that 1 carry for 81 yards, and you get 13 carries for 38 yards. That's less than 3 yards a carry. We were doing better running the ball than them with one of the best running backs in the league.
To this date, I'm done hearing all the bullshit about the Bills running game because quite frankly, the way I see it, our offensive line can't hang on the line of scrimmage apparently because everything that Motor's doing is perfectly fine. Yeah. And perfectly capable to do whatever we need to complement Josh Allen on the offense. Motor, to this date, is averaging 4.3 yards per carry, but yet they seem to cap him out. And I don't know if it's, again, because of the line of scrimmage, they're
as soon as they
they're
stuff him
better
up
at
the middle,
pass blocking, and then they give it up, they get impatient in the second half. When we had the lead, 27 to 10? No,
yeah, at
27
point, we were up by 17, yeah.
That's where you feed Motor. To me, feed Motor or even feed Motor or do some play action with Allen.
What got us into overtime was Allen rolling out and running. Now, I don't want Allen doing that every time. Well, as soon as he starts playing hero ball or sugar high Josh, You're getting those stupid picks.
We're
where he's
10th in rushing in the league. We're 10th in rushing yards per game in the league. And everyone's going to first point to Allen. Anyone that doesn't watch the Bills on a regular basis, they're going to be, well, that's because of Josh Allen. He's running 60, 70, 80 yards per game. Well, that's the problem. He's running too much. No, here's the thing.
Utilize his legs. But
If you watch Singletary, this whole season, all he's done is produce.
Yeah.
All he has done is produce.
It's pretty disrespectful to not use him.
I'm being an armchair coach and an armchair critic, but it's just what I see, it's what I feel, and I'm frustrated. And we haven't even gotten to the whole Josh Allen thing, but this whole running game thing,
a lot of it comes down to coaching.
I'm up to my neck in the whole running game thing because if I was Motor, I would be so happy to be out of here after the season, to go to a team that apparently could have an offensive line that can finish out a game and give a guy 20, 22
I was so happy to see him get like 10 carries.
What could he do with 20 to 22 rushes in a game if he's doing this much with 12 to 13? He's so unheralded. He's so, in my opinion, disrespected amongst our fan base and amongst maybe even other people within the NFL world. If we end up losing him,
you've been literally singing his praises.
I have, and if we lose him, I'm going to be sad because, quite frankly, man, all he does is produce. And then what did we do at the trade deadline? We got someone that maybe has a little bit more speed than him, but ultimately we've got 3 running backs now between him and Cook and Hines that they're all a little bit similar, but the eye test that I've been seeing, and granted we just got Hines, but on our team. But Singletary can do everything that these guys can do. And
he's actually pretty good at receiving.
That's my
as well.
Singletary soapbox rant, and I'm going to step off of it. So
that last play where Allen threw the interception going towards Gabe Davis in the end zone to seal the loss for us. If you look back at the play on the right-hand side of the lineman's scrimmage, for a dump pass, easy security blanket, check down, Singletary is wide open. You move the chains. Allen just ran to the left and plowed through people. I mean, he's been playing some dangerous ball. Between the first interception, then he tries to go make that tackle and whacks his arm on the guy when he was already going down. Allen is obviously off. You think that it could be relationship issues with Brittany?
No. That was half of it.
You were like,
joke.
you know
It
what?
was a joke.
You know, she wants to get married and have kids.
I said we had the whole Tom Brady thing and seeing how it's affected him going through this divorce, and I was just half joking, speculating like maybe Josh is going through some relationship issues. That's not true. Yeah. I was just trying to get a laugh. It's not. What did I tell you before we started this podcast? I said this season, with all the hype build up and the Super Bowl talk, even before we even took a snap in the regular season, it's just been so much pomp and circumstance and kind of a circus compared to what we're usually used to. And this season's been like chapters of a drama. And it's like been so different. Like the first month we were riding this high where it was like this like build up to this epic peak of this awesome show that is the NFL. Allen looked like he had added one more thing to his arsenal where he was more patient and he was picking people apart. And we beat the Rams, and we beat the Titans, and we, that Miami
Steelers,
Dolphins was a letdown. Yeah, but we the Chiefs was kind of like that, like kind of the apex there.
Yep. At 6-1, we're number 1 seed in the AFC still, and Josh Allen's leading the MVP race. Now he might be 5th, and we are 3rd in the division.
The first month just seemed like this epic roller coaster ride of just like we're going up, and then. Like this last 2 weeks, we were wanting to go down to get ready to go down to do the loop-de-loop, and instead it was like, and then we there was a malfunction. They all of a sudden beep 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 beep. Excuse me, you're gonna have to wait for a little bit. We got some system failures. You might be suspended for a little bit here. Just go ahead and hold tight. Everything's okay. We've got our mechanics looking at it, and now you're stuck. And we're waiting to get down.
I wish we were stuck that high. Right now,
down.
We're stuck right here.
We're stuck trying to go down, back down.
No, we need to get back up.
Well, like I'm talking about going down on a loop-de-loop, like going like getting some speed. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I don't want that speed of going back. Yeah, it was a terrible metaphor.
But anytime I try to do the roller coaster metaphor, it doesn't work.
No, look, there's peaks and there's valleys. Right now, we are in that valley. We need to get back up to a peak and stay there. Allen reached his
But you see
peak.
what I'm saying though? Like no, but like the whole I'm talking about the beginning of the season, the first month, it was like we're going up.
Of course.
And as we're getting ready to go down, like have the fun part of the roller coaster, it's been the last 2 weeks where all of a sudden the roller coaster stopped, malfunction.
Sure. And they have,
does that not make sense?
the last 10 quarters have been rough.
Jeez.
And really, it was the second half of the Packers game that started it. And after Allen seemingly lost some of that like mojo, some of that confidence that he always
He's lost
oozes,
his mojo, yeah. It's like
And
Austin Powers.
he didn't have someone like Brian Dable, who's been an offensive coordinator more than 1 year. You know, tell him, just calm down. I have faith in you. We're going to do this. Instead, we've got Allen, who's rattled and throwing the ball, it looks deliberately right to the Jets, right to the Vikings. And it's a head scratcher when you have 6 interceptions.
It's given the entire
last 3
Bills
games.
Mafia PTSD flashbacks to his rookie year.
Allen is 53rd out of the 55 quarterbacks that have started an NFL game this season in points expected in the red zone. They literally had a red zone turnover in 5 consecutive games. What it comes down to, you eliminate or at least reduce your turnovers, you win. All 3 of the games they've lost. Now, those are excuses. But when you lose by what? 2 points to the Dolphins? 1? And then 3 points? 7 or 8 points in 3 losses. They're right there. It's not time to panic.
Yeah, even my nerdy ass when I'm playing Madden online competitively against people online, even I tell myself as I'm trying to like get through a game, like, don't turn the ball over anymore.
Don't play down to the
Turnovers
competition.
lose games. And then I'll lose and I'll look at the end of game stats and boom, look at that. I had 4 turnovers to their 1 or their 2.
Speaking of
Turnovers
which,
lose you games.
Allen was only sacked twice. We got to Cousins 4 times. Von Miller got a sack, Epinesa got a sack, Basham got a sack, and we had 2 guys that were in on half sack each. Great. But turnovers, 4. Allen had the 2 interceptions, the costly fumble with 1:48 left right there at the end zone. I'm yelling to our 7-year-old. She's like, what's going on? I go, everyone's yelling because we're going to score. We're going to win. We stopped them from going in the end zone, turnover on downs at the goal line. That's unbelievable. It was so exciting. And then I couldn't believe it. Bobbled snap from the center, which means he's in his own head, and he's standing up, and then he dives to the right while everyone's piling on the ball at his feet.
Eric Wood on WGR, he talked about the fact that in that situation, it is hard because the center is immediately getting rammed by 250, 300 plus pound men, and you got to snap your head up.
What kind of porn is that?
You got to snap your head up quick after you snap it. You're getting rushed. And then ultimately, they're like the Vikings defensive line outmanned us on the line of scrimmage. Like McDermott's always talking about winning the line of scrimmage. We got completely blasted on line of scrimmage. And then that pushed them into Allen. Allen clearly kind of fell off to the side, missed the ball. Okay. It got
that first interception that Josh Allen threw. It was 4th down and 2, and we're in the red zone. Rather than kicking the field goal and taking points, you already have the lead comfortably, right? A comfortable lead. He throws the interception. It's a turnover in downs. Now, yes, that was 3 points that we missed out on. I think they got the ball and went down the field. That was like the momentum changer. The second turnover from Allen was when we stopped them on 4th down at the goal line. It was literally 5 inches from the goal line.
The whole stadium's shaking.
Why? What were they not in shotgun? I don't understand. I don't know. I don't agree with your philosophy, whatever you're going to say next. In shotgun, you run guys wide. If they're coming at you, you throw it away. Allen can run around the outside. Do something other than running right up the middle when you're that close. I think he should have been in shotgun. I said it before the play happened. And then the overtime one, that didn't need to happen. Like I said, check it down to Singletary.
And the first month, Josh Allen, he was beyond that.
He was
beyond that.
He looked, the reason why Collinsworth was comparing him to Brady, he was taking what the defense gave him. Dink and dunk, check down.
He was playing
moving
smart.
The ball like they did when Beasley was here. When we had him and we could go to him for a 3rd down conversion and move the chains, apparently we forgot how to do that. We got McKenzie involved. Now it's getting excited. I thought maybe they'll use Hines. Maybe since James Cook is playing against his brother Delvin, they'll give him the ball more. What did he have? 2
I don't
carries?
like that. Again, coming from a guy that's been preaching about Devin Singletary the whole fucking year, I don't give a shit that Dalvin Cook is playing his brother, James Cook. Give the best person on our team that runs the ball, that's the most effective, the most carries.
Josh Allen?
No, Devin Singletary. Other than Josh Allen, Devin Singletary, a.k.a. Motor. Give him the ball more. I don't give a shit that we drafted James Cook in the second round. I don't give a shit that we traded for Nyheim Hines before the trade deadline. Give it to Motor, maybe more than 10 to 12
What did
times.
that paper do to you?
A lot. Broke my heart.
It's okay, man.
Give it to Motor more than 12 times in a game and see what happens, and let Allen do his thing as well. Maybe don't have Allen throw 30 plus times. Maybe give it to Motor 20 times and have Allen throw.
Allen threw
balance.
it 43 times when your arm's hurting.
So when his arm's hurting, maybe give it to Singletary 20 to 25 times. That would be, I think, what a lot of teams would do.
Where
apparently our offensive line.
Where you're letting your emotions get to you. If you remove those boneheaded, stupid mistakes,
I get it.
and Ken Dorsey making amateur play calls, and Davis running predictable routes.
Your argument about shotgun in the play to kill the clock there at the end.
Or take the safety.
Give me a second.
Take the safety.
That's what I'm gonna say. Where I agree with you on that is that yes, Allen's in the shotgun. If he doesn't see anything or if he gets bull rushed and he can't get the ball away, he can step out of bounds for the safety, yes, which I hope he knows that in that situation. I think he's cerebral enough to know that he can take a safety, and that's good. Like if
you're
that was
still winning.
But then yes, you're right. He's got the option to either throw it out of bounds quick, if he's getting rushed.
Worst case scenario,
step out of the end zone, you get sacked, although he could fumble if he gets sacked. You could do a quick slant route, right? Like I get what you're saying there. Hindsight's always 20/20, and the play they did call should have been executed without a fumble.
But that's where Allen's in his head, and he's got all this pressure of the city of Buffalo loves him. I mean, nobody bashed him.
Him and Von Miller need to go out night on the town. Just him and Von, man. Go have some drinks. Go
Von's
play some
obviously
arcade games. Go hit the club. Just do something. And Von needs to just relax the dude and be like, because Von has definitely got that like very much that mentality of like shake it off. And yeah, he. You want to talk about? I mean, again, something good that Brandon Beane's done many good things, and he brought in Von, and it's that additional, like it's that additional kind of a different kind of a point of view. Now you've got this leader and this Hall of Famer that's got this different perspective, and everyone calls him an alien and a one of one, and he's got this cool point of view, and he's very kind of philosophical in a way, and he's kind of more laid back, kind of like Allen. Where it's like shake it off. So maybe,
but Allen wears it. He wants to win. He's competitive, just like everyone else on the team. But when at the press conference, I got to do better. It falls on me.
But everyone in the media said that that's the most dejected they've seen Allen. Like even after the 13 seconds or after the
How about the 16-point lead against the Texans? We keep blowing
said that was
these.
The most dejected they've seen him.
Yeah. I mean, you throw 6 picks in 3 games and cough up another fumble that costs a game, you're going to be dejected. I don't care what sort of therapist you see. You and Cousins, right? Allen throws for 330 yards. Cousins throws for 357. He was 30 of 50. He threw 50 passes and threw 2 picks just like Allen did to 1 touchdown, and we lose. It comes down to Jefferson catching that ball over Cam Lewis, Allen's boneheaded mistakes.
That all aside, though, am I oversimplifying it? And that
Singletary did have a fumble.
Yeah, that fumble was so close, and it could have been overturned if it wasn't for a bad angle where you couldn't see it because of his arm or a defender's arm. So whatever. I'm not even going to go there. Am I oversimplifying it though by saying that like during our bye week when you're supposed to self-scout, everyone's talking about we self-scouted on the bye. So tell me, am I oversimplifying it saying that should we not give Singletary more than 10 to 12 carries in a game like that and take a little bit of pressure off the dude who apparently hurt his fucking elbow? But maybe he didn't because he's making those crazy plays like
he's a cyborg.
Rush, like the Sugar Rush Allen in the wild card against the Texans where he doesn't give a shit. And yeah, like in this game, he's tackling someone and banging him with his elbow, like you said. It's just, man, it's just situational. Well, you sent me a message when you were in Buffalo about the Bills are the worst situational football team in the league.
Yeah. It's
And I wonder fucking why.
point blank. It's decisions. I love McDermott. The whole playoff caliber, and now it's Super Bowl caliber, and it's trust the process. I've trusted it, and I know Dorsey. He'll get his stuff together this season, or he's already going to be on the hot seat after one season. I think he started the season very strong. I think he needs to remember who they are as a team. What Dable was very good at, and what I miss, is he uses the talent that's with him, and he doesn't try to force a square peg in a round hole. You've got Saquon Barkley. Guess what? Barkley's resurrected his career, and Daniel Jones, who was denied the fifth-year option, is leading them to a 7-2, 8-2 record. That is Dable knowing how to utilize his guys.
Because he's taking the pressure off of a guy. And Daniel Jones isn't near the quarterback Allen is, but he's taking pressure off of Daniel Jones by utilizing the running game.
That's my point.
And even though we don't have a Barkley, Singletary can take pressure off of Allen.
I love that. Yes, I know. If I edit out every time he said Singletary, I think this episode is only 10 minutes, and it's about my visit to Buffalo. It was a rough game, but don't panic, man.
I'm not panicking.
We play Cleveland
and it's
next.
not all coaching, right? Like,
no,
look,
a lot of it
here's the
is,
thing.
and it's Allen.
No. Just wait a second. Okay,
Dorsey.
Okay, you're telling me that coaching lost this game over Allen?
No, but
right?
No.
That's the argument.
If they're out of the three losses, if we're going to say one of them, or if only one of them is Allen's fault, it's going to be this one. Clearly, that was a critical move, but it's also your coach to put you in the best situation to win. Like I said, hindsight's 20/20. But if you're in shotgun and you take a damn safety, or you try to get out of the end zone, the only thing you don't want to do is throw a pick six. That's no different than that fumble on the goal line and they get the ball. It's coaching, and it's Allen. Allen,
I disagree a little bit.
Yeah, you're allowed to.
Capping Singletary, well, and that is coaching. Capping Singletary is coaching, and it's driving me crazy. But at the end of the day, we did have a 27-10 lead. And,
with backups on defense.
And Allen had the opportunity not only to win it in overtime, or at least tie it when he threw the pick at the end, but then he had the opportunity to end it in regulation with that sneak, and he fumbled it. And then the other pick, so the two picks and then that fumble, just trying to get it out of our end zone, which give him 10 more tries, or 9 more tries, and he's probably going to get 70-80% of those. Maybe even 90%, like 1 out of 10 he fumbles.
It was another freak
So
game.
I'm not going to blame coaching on that. Like that, and Allen took the blame, and rightly so. He did cost us this game, and even though I don't want him, no one wants him to be so hard on himself. Just learn from it. Realize that you messed up. Take the plays that are there for you and check it down like you were doing in the first month. But at the end of the day, even though our coaching is far from perfect right now, and Dorsey, I don't think Dorsey's on the hot seat. He's a rookie offensive coordinator.
No, but his seat's getting lukewarm.
But it's his first year ever being a full-time offensive coordinator in the NFL.
But stop making the same mistakes more than once.
Yes, no, he definitely needs to work on adjustments. Clearly,
Just like
our halftime adjustments are horrendous right now.
And you know what's funny is we had the number one defense third quarter, right? We didn't allow a touchdown for like the first 5 games or 4 games. We allowed like 1 score. And in the second half for like 3 or 4 games together. First half, we have a game plan. In fact, the first 10, 15 plays, we have a game plan. Then it starts to get worse. Then at halftime, our adjustments aren't there. We need to adjust and figure it out. Right that ship, and we're fine. We play Cleveland next. They're beat up.
The stat we were talking about, the last time we scored a second half touchdown.
Week 7 against the Chiefs.
The Kansas City Chiefs. Does that not seem like a half a year ago at this point? That was the last time that we scored half.
I think we've got some PTSD. There's no doubt that when we have stuff like that happen, the game of the year and the 13 seconds and Houston and all that stuff, why are we always on that? And you know what's funny? What's ironic about that loss? It was against the Vikings, who also have 4 Super Bowl losses with 4 Super Bowl appearances. I would love to see them again in the Super Bowl, because I feel like what we did in the first half,
that would be. Oh my god.
That wasn't even a game until the turnovers happened. It wasn't. We had that game in the bag.
My brother is a Vikings fan, and I turned him into a Bills fan. So it's like my whole family's Vikings fans growing up in South Dakota. I was the oddball that chose the Bills when I was young. But now I've gotten my brother into the Bills. And so this was a weird game for him to watch. But he even told me before the game, he's like, watch. He's like, Cousins and the Vikings will find a way to mess us up. And then the irony is that it was Allen and the Bills that found a way to mess it up. And I got to give the kudos to Cousins because my brothers talked about, and a lot of people talk about how boring and vanilla Cousins is and how he's not clutch and how he's like a stone statue in the pocket. But you know what? When push came to shove, Cousins was clutch and won his team that game, and Allen didn't. And so I got to give kudos to him and the Vikings. I got to tell the audience this. I hate to say it because it's embarrassing, but I was chatting with my fantasy football group, and we were going back and forth because there was a couple of Vikings fans in this 12-person group chat, and I'm the only Bills fan. And so the Vikings fans and me were chirping back and forth, and I'm like, Allen's that guy. And this was in the third quarter. And I'm like, Cousins is just a guy. Turns out roles were flipped. In the fourth quarter, Allen was just a guy. Cousins was that guy. And at the end of the game, as all this craziness happened and Allen was getting that ball to try to get it out of our end zone to just ice the game and run the clock out, I sent a message to the group and I'm like, even with this win, this is the worst I've ever felt about a Bills win. And then the fumble happens and the Vikings fans in the group says, what win? ? And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But shame on me. Like, I've been a Bills fan for 26 years. I should know better than to count my eggs before they hatch.
There was an older gentleman that sat in the front and one seat over from me wearing all Viking stuff. Super nice guy. Him and his wife were there from Minnesota. Right towards the end of the fourth quarter, he goes, let's see, after actually Jefferson had that catch, he goes, let's see if the Vikings can do it for the 8th time this season. I go, what, win? He goes, no, we've been losing in the fourth quarter for 8 games in a row that they've won.
Yeah.
What?
So I got to give it, yeah. So that's a perfect segue into watching some of the media after the game. I'm a huge Buffalo Fanatic supporter. Shout out to Z-Bot and Rico. I watched them the most probably out of the Buffalo Fanatics. Z-Bot, he goes, it made me laugh. I laughed out loud. He goes, the Vikings have a 4-leaf clover shoved so far up their ass that it's coming out of their chest cavity as far as like how lucky they've been.
2 years ago, the Bills were 6-1 in close games, 1-score games. Last year, we were 1-5. And then this year, they're saying they can't win close games. They can't win close games. Then we beat the Chiefs, right? Like, oh, cool, we're going to do this. And then they're doing this again.
But it's a slump. But at the end of the day, though, trying to look at the optimistic side of it, you got to go back to like the years of Lossman.
Oh,
and
that's why I'm saying it's not time to panic. We have 4 more divisional games. Yes, 0-2 sucks. Let's say you win all of them, right? If you win the next 4, or you go 3-3 in the division. It is a division where all 4 teams have a winning record. There's one division in the AFC and one division in the NFC like that.
Even though the losses that have gotten us this 3 in the 6-3 record have been really tough and heartbreaking, we would take 6-3 over some of those Lossman and Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
And insert name here, Lossman, EJ
Kyle
Manuel,
Orton.
Kyle Orton, Uncle Rico Orton.
Alex Van Pelt.
So there's where we got to like pinch ourselves. Bills Mafia. We have the right to be angry. Like everyone's passionate. I hope you're angry about what's happened the last 2 weeks. I'm angry about what's happened here. I'm angry about what's happened with the Sabres. The Sabres were supposed to maybe get 80, 90 points this year.
The Vikings and the Bills had this within 5 yards of each other with 486 yards to 481 yards of total offense. The teams.
That's why it was the game of the year.
It was one-sided in the first half, but then when it got notched up, went into overtime, they were battling. It was fun. It was fun to see, just like the Chiefs game last year. The Bills were up. The Chiefs caught up. And then all those scores in the last 2 minutes, just like this one to go into overtime, we lost another overtime game. Can we win those close ones? That's what the rest of this season is going to be about. We are now in, week 11? So in 10 weeks, we know that our team is 6-3, has already had their bye. They're banged up. They're hopefully about to get Trey White back. And Poyer, he's back to practicing limited. So if we get Cam Lewis out of the lineup,
I'm not holding my breath.
Thank you, but no thank you. And we keep in DeMar Hamlin, who had another solid game. Jefferson was just incredible.
That catch, unbelievable.
That overshadowed that incredible catch that Diggs had. I mean, Diggs still had like 128 yards.
It was literally like anything you can do, I can do better. It was unbelievable.
That one-handed catch by Diggs in the middle of the field was incredible.
But then Jefferson outdid it. It was
He
wild.
did because he took it away. He took
more
another man's
difficult.
lunch.
I mean, yeah, because Diggs was uncovered in a way. Diggs was by himself, and but still just crazy vertical and one-handed.
Yeah.
Jefferson was contested.
I mean, Jefferson was 7 yards shy of 200.
Physicists were like in the lab trying to figure out the equations of how that fucking happened.
Diggs had 12 receptions for 128 yards, didn't have a touchdown, where Jefferson, who was 10 of 16 for 193 yards, had that one score, and that was what made the difference. They were not better than us. They're a good team. Right now, they're the number 1 seed in the NFC. We lost our number 1 seed in the AFC. The Eagles just lost, so now there's no undefeated teams. We're going to see if we make it through the AFC. If. There's a lot of things we got to work out. Then we're likely going to face the Vikings or the Eagles. Right now, it's getting the division, then focusing on the rest of the conference.
I've got a joke.
What?
What's the Vikings' favorite cereal to eat in the morning? Lucky Charms. Oh.
I've said what I had to say about that episode. Buffalo, it was nice being inside of you. Now I'm back in Portland. The blizzards are coming.
Oh, Highmark
They're about
Stadium.
to get a bunch of snow. 8 years ago, in the beginning part of November, 8 years ago, in 2014, I left. On my way, driving across the 90 to Seattle and then down to Portland, my aunt is sending me pictures saying, look at this. We're buried with snow. You left just in time. 92 inches in 24 hours. U.S. record in snowfall for a day. And now we're rumored to get, first it was 1 to 2 feet of snow. Then it was 30 inches of snow. Now you're telling me we could get 50 to 70 inches of snow? We'll get into that for our next episode.
Motor. No. Singletary. I want to give a quick shout out to Troy Dutz, my buddy that I talked about in the preview for the Vikings game. He got to go to Buffalo for his first ever Bills game. He's a Vikings fan. And so I want to give you a shout out.
We almost met up.
Almost met up. I'm glad that you got to have a great time. He gave a scathing review. It was, you know what? It was an honest review, and that's what I love about it. Yeah. And he said the tailgating was pretty much the best he's seen, and he's been to half a dozen or a dozen stadiums.
Even better than the Chiefs.
Better than the Chiefs, he said.
But there were long lines to the bathroom. The stadium is a hole. It's old.
He said, yeah. He said the stadium was college-like atmosphere, and then along with the tailgating, made it very unique. So he on the stadium, but at the same time, he said it was like college atmosphere, which is what I love.
And he said, "You don't have cheerleaders." And then
we don't have cheerleaders. I'm not even going to get into that, buddy.
Hygiene here. Let's show you how to use your tampons.
I wish we did. I mean, I wish we could get the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders and just pay them a lot of money to come up to the cold weather. But yeah, no, he had a good time. He got to see his team win. It sucks for us Bills fans, but anyway, shout out to you, man. I'm glad you made it out there. And I'm glad that you got to take your family, got to take Chelsea and Shiloh and Saber to go see your mom and your aunt and uncle, and got to take them for the first time. And even though it wasn't the best weekend for Bills sports,
it was a lot
Buffalo
of fun.
Sports,
the game was a lot of fun.
Yeah, family was fun. You got to go show them where you grew up and experience everything. And that's what matters.
No joke. There was a guy that sat next to me who opened up his phone and he had Stapes brakes. He sells cars online. He does brakes. And I go, what's your YouTube channel? And he goes, oh, I'm mostly on TikTok. And then I go on TikTok and he's following me. Dude, he was already following me. So I sent him a message. He goes, hey, man, I'm doing a 12 break, whatever. I'm like,
sometimes the universe works in weird ways, man.
He said it was great that you got to take your kids to that game. It was a great game to go to. Normally he takes his daughter, who actually does a lot of the breaks for him. I think she's 9. And it was just... I miss that about Buffalo. I was there long enough to know that it was time to go, but I love visiting. I will always come back and visit. I will always have a part of my heart for Buffalo. Buffalo.
Of course.
And you know what? Here's some Josh's Jacks.
Hey, look at this. Speaking of cereal, that's what I'm going to be eating in the morning.
Are you cereal?
I'm super cereal.
You can't open that. It's like the Flutie Flakes. It's sacred.
This is a special edition.
It's sacred.
I'm not open this. Dude, thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So let's get through these cards here. This one here, Stairmasters. He stares so much at you.
At the defensive cornerback.
That they know exactly where the ball's going and he'll throw the ball right to you. I've got the number to this card, but I did not want to go in my locked up case to grab it. So we're just getting the cards that I have in the garage right now.
That's fine.
What do you have? Air Raid. It is a
yes,
patch.
sir. I love this card because it's aviation themed, which is badass.
It's like
this is
Top
number
Gun.
32 of 75, Air Raid. Dun 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 dun. 2021 Panini Absolute Football Air Raid. Josh Allen. He's got the white jersey patch there. It's a little, we always look for multicolored jersey patches because one color is boring. But it's still an awesome
got the holes
card,
in it.
man.
It's cool. It's cool. It's a lower part of the
It's
jersey.
Josh fucking Allen. Even though we just spent 30 minutes criticizing him, I still love this man. He's still awesome. He just needs to get his shit together, and he will. All right, he's I don't doubt it. But at the, Rico from Buffalo Fanatics. The thing I love about Rico is that he doesn't sugarcoat.
Isn't his beard?
He criticizes the Bills players that need to be criticized, and that includes Allen. People are like, "Oh, you're too hard on Allen." And he's like, "Well, then this isn't the podcast for you." Like, he's a fanatic just like anyone, and he bleeds Buffalo, but he's not afraid to like call a spade a spade, like call it out, like call the shit out. So, anyways,
the Bills in the second quarter lost Tremaine Edmonds.
The injuries, that's again, we didn't even talk. We spent this whole podcast and didn't talk about how bad.
The injuries have been bad. Every team has injuries. There's a 100% injury rate in the NFL, right? And it's like whack-a-mole. You get Trey White back, and then you lose this person and that person. And it's just always going to be like that, right? So the Bills have to find answers because we had an answer for Dalvin Cook until that breakaway. We're going to face Nick Chubb, who is, in my eyes, probably the best running back in the league.
And Kareem Hunt, who I wish we would have traded for.
So we've got 1, 2, right? Kareem Hunt would be a starter in 75% of the teams outside of
at least
Cleveland. So get ready for that game. We talked enough here. We had to vent. I'm glad you got it off your chest.
I needed it, brother.
We didn't get into fantasy football.
That's why
because
I wanted you to like talk about the family stuff first, because that's what's more important than any kind of game. Because I knew just like this was the first time all year where I felt like, and rightly so, we had to like let some criticism out because it was warranted, and fans are frustrated. The team is clear. I'm sure the team is obviously frustrated. Coaches are frustrated, and of course the fans are frustrated. We live and breathe and die by a team that all we can do is cheer for them. We have no control over them, but it's just been a frustrating half of a month.
I feel bad for the fans that are diehard like us. What's crazy is on Monday, I went to Allentown. Our 7-year-old's like, let's go to Joshtown. They have a town named after him. I'm like, well, it's Allentown. It was that way beforehand. My wife thought that it was named after him, and I go, no, it's been Allentown. It's like the arts district. It's basically the Portland of Buffalo. And we get there, and it's a deserted area. Everywhere in Buffalo on Monday was dead because when the Bills lose, we mourn. When it's Victory Monday, we celebrate. It's amazing. So let's do a cheers for a Victory Monday next week.
Cheers, brother. Cheers to you taking the family to Buffalo.
Let's hope that they actually have a game this coming week.
All this pouting and criticizing, feeling sorry for ourselves. You know who wouldn't be feeling sorry for themselves right now? Marv Levy. What he would say is, a little I am hurt, but not yet slain. Let's lie ourselves down and bleed a while. And then Bills Mafia will rise and fight again. As we go into this next week in Buffalo, whether there's an inch of snow or 10 feet of snow, maybe it's going to be Snowmageddon. Don't forget to pound some Labatt's, break through some tables responsibly, and as always, take a few hydration breaks.
Well, that's going to do it for episode 16 of The House That Alan Built. I'm Scott Kinmartin. With me, as always,
Greg Vollmer.
We'll see you next time. Let's go Buffalo! Whoa, it hit the light. So Thursday night,
what did Saber think of the Falls? Was he just like...
Oh, we had a full-on conversation. Me and my 15-month-old son were like, hey, what do you think of the... Oh, yeah, well, look at that rainbow.
Give me a full thesis on give me a full essay on the
How do you
experience.
think this happened?
What was it? I'm sure he was probably in awe. Like his facial expressions,
They were like this.
Unfazed. That was him during the whole Bills game.
He's like, those are tears. Like he wasn't in
Eric
Orchard
Wood,
Park.
Eric Wood, I think, described the situation the best as far as like reanalyzing it as a summary. It's okay. So Eric Wood on WGR summarized it the best after the fact, and he's a former offensive lineman. He's a former center, so he's probably one of the best people to talk to about just the center to quarterback exchange. And he's so calm and collected, and his analysis is very just like it's just very, what's the word?
More concise than Greg. It's more concise than you. What with the word? the word
is
is we lost. Act like you're gonna say Rico. Oh. I see the bikini girl. Jesus Christ.
All right.
What are you Googling?
Well,
we lost Gregory Rousseau last week, right?
Gregory Rousseau?
You're going to lose people.
A little I am hurt, but not yet slain. Bills Mafia will just lie ourselves down and bleed a while, and then we'll rise and fight again. I'm going to redo that.
Yes. Yes, you should redo that.
You know, all this talking about feeling sorry for
start again, because I was talking.
Try not to give her the mic. Josh is Jax. Are we ready?
Josh jumps, Jax, Jimmy Johnson,
Jimmy
Willy Wonka.
Jimmy Johnson's looking old, man. Like, he's always looked good for his age.
Jump, Jupiter, Jax, Johnny, Jimbo, Jim Beam.
Dable.
Ow now, brown cow.
I miss him.
Ow now, brown cow. Unique. New
Check,
York.
check, check.
Unique.
Let's make sure that the microphone's going. Hello. Hi. Check. Hi. I love you.
Here we go. All right.
Oh, sky rockets in flight. Boo! Afternoon delight. My motto's always been when it's right while waiting till the middle of a cold, dark night. When... Because he's like, "What? Tell us, Ron. What's love like?"
That's love.